Welcome to Mr. Dark Mysteries, the dark corner of YouTube where unsolved mysteries, chilling murders, and true crime stories come to life. Join us as we dive into the depths of the human psyche, unraveling the most bewildering cases ever recorded. From forgotten cold cases to the latest investigations, no stone will be left unturned in our quest for the truth. Prepare for a journey through the shadows of society, where mysteries await to be unveiled. Subscribe now so you don't miss a single mystery. Today, we delve deep into a story that is shocking not only because of its brutality, but also because of the young lives it changed and destroyed. In the early hours of a cold November morning in 2016, the quiet community of Knoxville, Tennessee, was shaken by a tragedy that nobody saw coming. Emma Walker, a 16-year-old girl with dreams as big as her heart, was brutally taken from this life, leaving behind a community in mourning and a family torn apart by grief. Emma was more than just a victim. She was a daughter, a friend, a cheerleader, and a light in the life of everyone who knew her. But behind the smile and innocence, there lay a dark tale of love, obsession, and ultimately, murder. Today, we take you on a journey through Emma's life, the events that led to her tragic death, and the relentless quest for justice that followed. From her relationship with the boy she once trusted to the courtroom where the truth was finally revealed. This is the story of Emma Walker. So brace yourself, because this story is as heartbreaking as it is revealing. This is Mr. Dark Mysteries, and this is the murder of Emma Walker. To fully understand the story of Emma Walker, we must begin with who she was before the tragic events that ended her life. Emma was not just a name in the headlines. She was a vibrant soul whose life meant much more than the way it ended. Born and raised in Knoxville, Tennessee, Emma was a shining star in the eyes of everyone who knew her. As a cheerleader at her high school, she was the epitome of energy and enthusiasm, a young woman who pursued her passions with heart and soul. But Emma's influence went beyond the cheerleading field. She was known for her kindness, her willingness to help others, and her ability to bring light into the darkest days. Her dreams were big, with aspirations that ranged from pursuing a career in healthcare to making a difference in the world around her. At home, Emma was the beloved daughter of her parents, a loving sister, and a loyal friend. Her family described her as the heart of their household, someone whose laugh and energy were indispensable in their lives. As we delve into Emma's story, it's important not only to mourn her death, but also to celebrate the life she led. The story of Emma Walker is one of light, love, and the lasting impact of a young woman on a world that had to let her go too soon. Every story has its heart-wrenching twists, and Emma's story is no exception. At the center of this narrative is the relationship between Emma and Riley, a relationship that began as a teenage romance, but ended in a tragedy that no one could have anticipated. Riley, a year older than Emma, was not just her boyfriend, but also a prominent figure in her life. As a football player at the same high school, their relationship initially seemed to embody the typical high school romance. However, what appeared on the surface concealed underlying issues. The relationship was marked by ups and downs, with moments of intense affection followed by periods of control and jealousy on Riley's part. Friends and family of Emma began to worry about Riley's influence on her, especially as his behavior became increasingly possessive. Despite the love they had for each other, Emma began to recognize the toxic patterns in their relationship. With the support of her family and friends, she made the brave decision to end the relationship with Riley, hoping for a fresh start and a chance to rediscover herself outside the shadow of their relationship. But the end of their relationship was not the end of the story. In the weeks that followed, Riley refused to accept the breakup. His actions shifted from pleas for forgiveness to a series of disturbing behaviors that would eventually lead to unimaginable consequences. The relationship between Emma and Riley is a grim example of how love can derail, turning into obsession and ultimately leading to tragedy. As we proceed, we'll see how this broken connection heralded the fatal night that would change everything. The night that would end Emma's life, and forever alter a community began like any other quiet evening in Knoxville. But beneath the guise of normality, an unthinkable act of violence was brewing. In the early hours of November 2016, as Emma slept in the safety of her own room, a figure in the shadows approached her house. It was Riley, driven by a disturbing mix of obsession and desperation, who decided to commit an act that would shock the community. The next morning, when Emma did not respond to attempts to wake her, her family made the heart-wrenching discovery. Emma lay motionless in her bed, life stolen from her by the violent action of someone she once trusted. The impact of this moment on her family and friends is impossible to grasp, a pain exacerbated by the senselessness of the violence. The police were immediately notified, and an investigation was launched, leading to the revelation of a series of events that no one could have anticipated. The evidence unmistakably pointed to Riley, and his arrest quickly followed. The murder of Emma Walker is a reminder of the dark sides of human emotions and the devastating impact of obsessive love. As we continue, we will explore the steps towards justice in an attempt to make sense of a senseless act of violence. Following the discovery of Emma Walker's body, the race against time began for authorities to find justice for her and her family. The investigation into her death would soon reveal a disturbing web of lies, obsession, and premeditation. The initial clues came from Emma's immediate environment. Investigators focused their attention on her recent ex-boyfriend, due to the tumultuous nature of their relationship and his recent behaviors that set off alarm bells for Emma's friends and family. Digital evidence, including text messages and social media activities, revealed Riley's obsessive and sometimes threatening behavior towards Emma after their breakup. But it was the theft of the firearm from his grandfather that gave investigators a crucial piece of evidence. Forensic analysis confirmed that the bullets that killed Emma came from the same weapon. With this undeniable connection between Riley and the murder, the investigation quickly narrowed down to him as the prime suspect. However, it was a clever police operation involving Riley's friends to assist him in disposing of the murder weapon that provided the definitive confirmation of his guilt. Unaware he was being observed, Riley led them to the weapon, thereby unwittingly sealing his fate. On November 22, 2016, just one day after the murder, Riley was arrested and charged with the murder of Emma. The evidence against him was overwhelming, and the shockwave through the community and the country was palpable. The arrest marked the beginning of a long and emotional journey towards justice for Emma. Following Riley's arrest, the Knoxville community was held in suspense, waiting for justice in the tragic case of Emma. The trial that ensued would reveal both the heart-wrenching details of the murder and the defense of a young man who had made an irreversible mistake. The prosecutors presented compelling evidence of Riley's premeditation and actions leading to Emma's murder. Witnesses, including friends of both Emma and Riley, depicted a disturbed young man whose obsession and jealousy drove him to the unthinkable. Perhaps the most heart-wrenching moment of the trial was the testimony of Emma's family, who spoke about the impact of her loss. Their words not only showed the depth of their grief, but also the indelible void Emma's absence had left in their lives. After an emotionally charged trial, Riley was found guilty of first-degree murder on May 8, 2018, and sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The verdict brought an end to a chapter of deep pain and loss, but also a beginning of a long road to healing for the community, and especially for Emma's family. As we come to the end of this deeply moving story about the life and loss of Emma Walker, it's important to take a moment to reflect on the lessons we can learn from this tragedy. Emma's story is one of indelible light and darkness, of love and loss, and ultimately of justice. Her life, though far too short, has reminded us of the value of compassion, the strength of community, and the importance of vigilance in protecting those we love from domestic violence and toxic relationships. The conviction of Riley provides a degree of closure, but it also reminds us that justice can sometimes be a bittersweet victory. It cannot undo the loss, but it can offer a path to healing and awareness. Thank you for listening to this episode of Mr. Dark Mysteries. In memory of Emma, and all those we've lost to senseless violence. Let's commit to change, to love, and to justice. Until next time, stay safe and keep asking questions. For the truth often lies hidden in the shadows, waiting to be discovered.